Welcome back, guys, to episode 41 of your favorite person's favorite podcast. Shout out Atypical. Lads, been a while since we've recorded. We were doing batch recordings and that. What have you been getting up to?
Nothing.
Yep, that's great. Jay, take the mantle. Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's, anything interesting?
I've just been out like chilling with other people. That's quite funny. Not with you guys. But you know, New Year's Eve, I was just chilling with my girl. We started watching Monarch. Very interesting TV show.
Oh, interesting, Jay. I was actually going to talk to you about that off recording because I was going to be like, have you started it yet? That's funny.
We talk about it on recording.
I've heard flipping half, I've forgotten his name. Famous old actor, Little China. Flipping, what's his name? Russell. What's the main character's name? Kurt Russell.
Oh.
No. Kurt Russell. I heard Kurt Russell's really good in the show.
Yeah, but he's top tier actor though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
You can't really go wrong.
It's just silly, and it's like, oh, I heard Leo's good in his new movie. Well,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah. No, he is very good. He is very good.
He is.
Yeah. Sometimes a lot of the other characters are quite young because it basically centers around two people that don't know their brother and sister because their parent worked for Monarch, but he had secret lives, one in America, one in Japan, and then they meet each other, and they're like, what the hell's going on? And then they try and find out what their dad did in Monarch and how he was related to Godzilla and all that stuff. So their characters are young. They're not really very emotionally stable and stuff. So it's a bit like erratic. And then you have the older character who plays a lot more of the emotional scenes and adds that type of element to it. So obviously it's going to be way better because he's doing all the hard work.
It's also funny because the younger version of Kurt Russell in the show is his son. And well, obviously, Kurt is going to be the better actor over his son as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. I definitely want to check that out. I need to check out more Apple TV shows. The only Apple TV show I've really seen is Ted Lasso, which is interesting show. Interesting show.
Yeah, I've heard decent things about it.
Ted Lasso's fun, but it is so cheesy. It's like so cheesy. It is like mozzarella, flipping, extra cheddar, all on one, bro. It's a lot.
That's the footy one, yeah.
That's the footy one. That's the American football.
He's in FIFA now.
Yeah, it's just lame in it. Yeah.
AFC.
Yeah, that one.
No, actually, I think he was in the last FIFA. He was actually in FIFA 23.
He was in career mode or something.
Yeah.
Out of all the Apple TV ones, obviously, I really wanted to watch Monarch, but I also have for a long time wanted to watch Severance.
Same.
And I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, I'm just of the ilk that like it's been a while. I'll just wait until season 2. Severance is the one though that everybody talking about. Severance and Silos. It's like Severance, Silos, Monarch.
Which one's
Ted
Silos?
Lasso. Silos is the one with I think it's Rebecca Ferguson, the girl in the woman in Mission Impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Paul's mom. Paul's mom from Dune. You know. No idea.
Her. Yeah.
No idea. But anyway, we're boring, Hamza. Anything else you did interesting?
Tomorrow,
be a little bit more interested, bro.
Bro, I don't watch shit, man. I don't watch anything.
Fine. You're gonna watch Japanese cartoons in like a week.
True.
Yeah, hopefully.
True. Anything Boxing Day? Do you mind go to Boxing Day, or do you just online sales or whatever?
I didn't buy anything this time.
Have you ever bought anything Boxing Day?
Yeah, like clothes and stuff back in the day. But that's it, really.
Yeah.
I don't really buy anything
Boxing Day is only really. It's great for clothes. Everything else is kind of samey. You just go past Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That's when all the tech stuff is. You don't really get that on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
You get the retail stores.
Sales aren't what they used to be, man. They're not what they used to be. You're better off just looking for a random price dip in the middle of the year. Sales are ass, bro.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, well, there you go. We do hot takes over here.
What's the last thing you bought on sale?
Items being on sale is ass.
Sales aren't as good as they used to be, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Because sales happen more often nowadays. That's why.
Yeah, it's true, bro.
You're saying that because there used to be a sale like twice a year. Now there's like 6.
Isn't it? Point still stands.
Not really.
You act like you were bought. You act like you buy stuff back then or now. Honestly.
Nah, I do. I bought quite a lot of stuff. I bought quite a bit. Yeah.
Did you? What did you buy on Boxing? I've asked this question every time.
No, Black Friday.
What did you buy on Black Friday?
We already talked about that, bro. Go watch the old episode.
That's what I'm saying. But you didn't buy clothes.
No.
Retail.
I bought some workout
fraud,
stuff,
honestly.
and then I bought a Fitbit.
Oh, you
and,
bought Gymshark.
Some other
Look
shit.
at you, mate.
No, not Gymshark, bro. Not Gymshark. Just some equipment.
Ah, fairs.
But no, I didn't do anything over the holiday period. We said this because we just failed a recording. I was trying again. Lucky it was only 5 minutes. Well, I said last time. I'll say it again for the viewers. Not that they care anyway, but who cares? I'm just going to keep going and rambling.
if
But
you're
get
gonna
to the
ramble,
point.
Listen,
That's it.
all I'm
I
gonna
did
say is
nothing. I
episode
just did my
41.
admin to do task.
Episode 41 is hella cursed, bro. This is what the 5th time I was trying to record this episode. It is one cursed
Yeah,
episode. I don't
it's
want
a
to get
cursed
into.
episode.
There are many
into all
cursed
of it.
episodes.
There are many cursed episodes. I have an interesting story. I can't really remember it verbatim now, but I went out on Boxing Day, standard retail and that. But I went to like a chaiwala in London.
East London.
No, there's one like near the M4 when you go for the M4.
Where's
Anyway, it
that,
doesn't
Where?
matter. Who cares?
Southall?
Where, bro?
In Central, near Central.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Near
I
Central.
didn't know.
That's
I'll
what I'm
Google
saying.
it.
It's like right off like the exit. Anyway, I went to Chaiwala, and funny story. It was Boxing Day, and it's one of the only Chaiwalas in the whole of London, at least on
There's
the
quite a few,
west
to be
side, right?
fair.
On the west side.
Shepherd's Bush, Hammersmith, Holborn, Knightsbridge, Ealing. It's quite a few.
It was the
Acton.
Knightsbridge one. So anyway, this is I can't remember it. I'm gonna do a
Don't
bad
want to
job.
sponsor us.
This guy's starting a story by saying he doesn't know the story.
No, he keeps interrupting me about the locations, but I can't verbatim tell you the exact like
I
path.
dare
of
I
what happened,
ask
right?
questions about your story, fam? Kill me.
Listen, you went to a school presentation. We leave the questions till the end,
Ah,
okay?
say less.
All right. So basically, I went with my mom and sister, and you know how I said my mom and sister love to argue. I've said this before. Like loyal listeners will know. So this was a very interesting situation. Spoiler alert: there was another argument, but this is one of the worst cases I've ever seen.
Jaivala.
I'll tell you, my flipping throat's messed, bro. Give me a
Pause.
sec.
Drinking too much chaiwala, bro. What you been up to? My man's doing more than drinking chaiwala over there. This guy's moving.
All right, water break. 2 minutes in.
So, follow the Atypical podcast. Subscribe, like, leave a comment down below.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was muted.
Oh, it's fine. This episode is finished.
Oh, my throat is actually gone. Anyway, so what happened is it was hella busy. This is the most busiest trial I've ever seen in my life. No cap. I mean, maybe because it's Boxing Day. I don't know if it's a Pakistani franchise, right? I don't know if they're open on Christmas Day, but at least it looked like they weren't because it was packed. There was a queue right outside of the actual shop, right? Yeah, I know, for chaiwala, exactly. That's what I'm saying, okay? And all I'm
What was it?
gonna say,
Wait, hold on. What was the demographic in the shop?
what do you think, brother? They were Asian as shit. Okay. They
Why are
were
they going to
they were not
Knightsbridge?
Caucasian. They were not Caucasian.
They're
okay?
all
They look like
traveling
me.
from Southall, which has 15 chaiwalas, to go to a
I
chaiwala in
know,
London.
I know. Actually, there was an American guy there. I saw an American guy there, and I think, what did he get? He got something like Rasmalai, which made me want to laugh, honestly. Some like this Caucasian American guy. Anyway, there's massive queue, yeah? Very, very busy. Go in, get the items, blah, blah, blah. They took like 50 minutes. Not exaggerating. For flipping tea, bro. For tea. 50 minutes,
Literally their job.
It is quite...
1-5,
They-
yeah?
Do your job.
1-5.
Not 1-5, brother. 5-0.
5-0.
Yes.
Still shorter than
5-0.
JB for Halloumi Hernandez, though.
Barely.
Literally wasn't.
5-0. 5-0, Jay, yeah? And basically what happened is they were trying to like constantly like, when is the food going to come? When is the food going to come? When is the food going to come? And there were three main employees, and then there was a manager. And someone who's worked in retail, right? Fair play, it's kind of different on food. Someone who's worked during retail during the Christmas period, during the Boxing Day, during Black Friday, it gets hectic, yeah? But it's kind of the bit of the fun. That's the fun bit, the hectic nature. These lot couldn't hack it. That's all I'm going to say, right? They were so pressurized and stressed, kept on saying, when is the food going to come? When is the food going to come? And they were like insisting, why don't you take the food now? Because we can't promise you the tea after 50 minutes.
All you
That's
do
what I'm
is go
saying.
to the thing, press the button, comes out.
Brother,
Their
trust me.
tanks were
Trust
empty,
me.
clearly.
Trust me.
They
And
had
like I
that
s-
sweatshop in the back making the jar.
Bro,
right?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what kind of child they got.
Your
Nice
mom's
things,
just
okay?
like jump behind the thing and be like, I'll make it.
Well, this is the funny thing, okay? This is what's so funny. So there was one employee particularly that we were dealing with, and she was actually pretty nice. She was okay. blah blah blah. She's like, sorry about this. Okay. Another one comes in and is like pretty aggressive. And now listen, I've said before, most of the time it's my mom or sister. So this is how you know you can take my word. This time it wasn't just my mom or sister, right? Being Karen's, whatever. This time this woman was pretty aggressive, and she's like, hey, just take it. We can't promise you anything. And then it got in a bit of a scuttle, and then she started shouting. And I was like, whoa. That's when I got intervened. I was like, don't shout at my mom. I was like, what's your name, right? And this is the crazy thing. They refused to give their flipping names. They're like, we're not telling your names. My mom was like, what's your name? We're going to contact HR, whatever. They're like, I'm not telling you my name. I'm not telling you my name. I'm not telling you my name.
Who's the manager? Was she the manager?
Nah, bro, this was even funnier.
Oh,
so,
my God, this is too
I'm
funny.
not telling you my name.
I'm not telling you my name.
Well, they weren't actually fresh.
Oh, ooh.
They weren't actually fresh. They're probably from this country.
Bro, that's
They
some
went to
year
school
7
there.
tactic.
Were they
They
Asian?
were like, they were. Right, you want to know the ethnicities? Yeah, they were
Yeah,
Asian.
I do.
Yeah, they were Asian.
South Asian, yeah.
In fact, the one who shouted was definitely South Asian. I'll just say.
Was she
that.
like Harshu lot or us lot?
No. She was a Punjabi lot. If that.
Oh, that's Jay.
Right.
Me as well, but you know.
Listen, I don't even know this woman.
Yeah, anyway,
No, you do.
so anyway, what happens is she starts shouting, and I'm like, don't shout, don't get rude like that. And then she starts, because she can't act stress. Clearly, it was like this whole case of being busy the whole day. She can't handle whatever. Not really any excuses anyway, because like I said, I've been working in retail. There's no excuses to get rude. Blah blah blah. She swears at my mom. She's like, F you, whatever.
No way.
Goes behind, like hides her in the like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Starts crying, bro.
Oh no.
She starts crying.
It was the stress. It was like, you know what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She's forgiven.
No,
She couldn't
she's
hack
not
the stress.
forgiven. She's
Nah,
not
she can hack
forgiven
the
because she
stress, but
swore.
she crumbled.
Nah, she's not
Nah,
gonna.
she
she
crumbled.
What do
swore
you
my
mean
mom.
she's
not
forgiven?
Nah,
She's
she-
not forgiven.
If I cause a 10-man pile up on the motorway and start crying, I'm forgiven.
Yeah, it's true, bro.
It makes no
It's
She
sense.
had a
true.
breakdown, bro. She had a breakdown.
She
It was too
had a
much.
breakdown. She
It was too
fully had a
much.
breakdown. She fully had a breakdown of a chaiwala, right? And so then what happens is the manager comes in. The manager comes in, and ironically, the manager was like, "Oh, don't worry about them. They're children. They don't really understand." I'm like, "Bro, don't hire
He's
them."
mugging off
then."
his own employees.
Well, he's trying to say like they're kids in it, like they can't handle it.
He's running a
basically
sweatshop.
How old?
He's
like-
running
How
a
old did they
sweatshop.
look? Well, how old did they look?
They were like young 20s. They were young 20s. They weren't
Brother, that's
younger
not
than my
kids.
sister. Yeah, they weren't that younger than my sister, I'll be honest. They all looked like post uni. They weren't like 15, 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
Trust me, it
that's-
wasn't
yeah.
that case. They were all basically young women, right? And so then the manager comes in, and is like, oh, this, that. And then the other third employer.
Yeah, worker.
Yeah, so let me just, because it's a bit confusing. One very nice girl, she was
Yeah.
okay. The other one who had the fit cried, and then there's another one who then came involved, and then the manager, right? So the other one who then came involved, right? I was like, give me the names. I'm like, give me her name. She can't just swear at my mom and shout at my mom, who blah 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 blah. Standard process. Then they were like, nah, we're not giving you their name. We're not allowed to give you their name. We're not allowed to give you their
This
name.
is the only shop
And
in
I'm like,
history where someone doesn't have a name badge.
Bro, trust me, they didn't have their name badge. And I was like, where's your name badges? Where's your
tax
name
purposes.
badges? Chaiwala. And I was like, where's your name badges? And they're like, we're not giving you a name. And I'm like, talking to the manager, and I'm like, you're the manager, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, give the names. He's like, I'm not giving the names, brother. This went
To
on
be
for
fair-
10 minutes. This went for 10 minutes, and take consideration, they're piling up the queue even further and further because of this incessant nature, while she's crying in the background this whole time over the chaiwala. Then eventually, they were like, yeah, her name's flipping, I don't know, Sophia.
Made
And it was
up
like,
some
Sophia.
random shit.
Who knows? Then the name, she's like, oh, the name is Sophia or some shit like that. Sophia something, Sonia, maybe one of them two. It's S sounding in it. I don't remember. It's been like 2 weeks now. Week.
Sure.
2 weeks, 2 weeks. So so there was that whole
Right.
ordeal, and I'm just like, bruh, if you
Yeah,
can't
you know
hack
that name weren't
working,
real, bro. That name weren't
well,
real.
I think it was because then immediately when she gave it, she then went behind the scenes saying Sonia Sophia UK or some shit, whatever.
She went
I
to
don't
change her
know.
name. That's what she did. She went back to change her name.
So yeah, so like that was my
Wow.
That's
funny, not really funny, but interesting
funny.
story. It is pretty funny,
That's
honestly. It is pretty funny. Like I said, if you can't hack it, don't work it, bro. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
facts.
sentiment in the end of the day,
They're
especially
just
working.
hiring.
Someone
They
who's
probably
working.
hire them on the cheap, innit? And then
Fully, they hire them on the cheap out of uni or
£2.
stuff. And you know it's funny because I know I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite here because she was talking rude, but in Debenhams, when customers would get rude to me, now to be fair, I would never be the one to. I would never be the instigator like she was in this case. When
Mhm.
customers get rude to me, I'd love it, bro. Especially
so
coming from
fun.
Slough,
It's so
especially from
fun.
Slough, but like a bunch of these Asian dons,
It's
like
so
bro,
fun, bro.
it's free real estate. You
I
can
once
go
had an American
in.
guy put his middle finger up at me, and I genuinely laughed at him.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
so
"There's
good.
no way you just did that, bro! Like, you
It's
put a
so
middle
good.
finger up in like just probably like 2020,
Yeah,
2020
yeah.
or something." I was like, "Bro, it's 21st century. You put middle fingers up, bro. We left that in the 20th, bro.
Yeah,
What
for
you
sure,
did?"
bro. For sure. There's honestly nothing more cathartic sometimes because you're like, oh, you've taken off the lid now, bro. It's free real estate. It's free game.
what
But
makes
yeah,
someone want to put their middle finger up?
He's American.
You have to
bro.
be
What
such a
boomer.
brat to do that.
Bro, he had massive brat energy. He was with this kid as well. I was like, "Oh, great example for your kid there, mate." And I just laughed at him. He was fuming. That's the worst, isn't it? When people pissed off, you just laugh at them. They go off the rails.
that's what I'm
People
saying.
can't hack it. They can't
Yeah,
hack
they
it.
can't hack it. They can't hack it because they need you to reciprocate. Otherwise,
Yeah, nah,
their
no,
energy's
that,
gone
bro.
nowhere. But yeah, so that was my interesting story. Other than that, I think I already told you. I went to Cafe Concerto, and I think I said the story outside of the pod. In fact, walking the streets of Oxford Street, I was like, it's meant to be. I saw a curry packet on the floor.
Mm,
Good,
yeah.
yeah.
Which
that.
and then in the same day I told Jay, and then the same day I went to Cafe Concerto where the guy was from Haryana, as you
Yeah.
like
Oh
to
yeah,
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
So I'm like,
Haryana.
yeah, so I'm like,
I got
damn.
you watching Haryana.
So I'm like, this is an eventful day for the pod. Flipping out.
That's
Let
funny.
me knock down the stories. But yeah, 15 minutes chai walla just to get a refund. So there's that.
Okay, at what point do you just ask for a refund? How,
Why can't you just ask
we
for a
did-
refund like straight
you
away?
didn't.
The
There's
thing
no
is-
way you waited 50 minutes.
I mean, I did, but the thing is, I got my drink like 20 or 30 minutes in, and so that's what I'm saying. There was one sweet girl who was like, "Sorry about this, we do blah, 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 blah." It was really the instigation, like the actual moment where we're aggressive, is when the other girl came in, just like, "Here, just take whatever you can, whatever." We
When
can't
you were
promise
ordering,
anything."
did you know it was going to take ages when you were ordering? Or
Nah,
did you find out
nah.
after you ordered
No,
and you
it was
waited a
after.
bit and then
It
you were
was-
like, "Why is it not here?" And then they were
Yeah,
like, "Oh, yeah,
standard,
it's been like,
standard.
okay."
It was like they would take like 25, 30 minutes, which is why there wasn't a problem with mine. And it was just funny because we saw the queue going in. But anyway, it's just all a bunch
yeah.
of bullshit anyway. But
Fair
that's
enough.
the story.
It's eventful.
Yeah, it's eventful.
You got to stop attracting trouble out there, bro.
Yeah, to be fair. Can't help it. Someone has a flipping fit, bro.
Nah, you caused the fit. You caused the fit.
Actually, you didn't, honestly. Just doing her job caused the fit, bro.
That
She
is
couldn't
victim
handle, like, as
mentality,
you
man.
said, it's so victim mentality, bro. When she literally, it's like the most. I got so
Are
many
you
things
gonna
I can say.
swear and then start
That's what I'm
crying?
saying. And so
Yeah,
crying.
that's nuts. That's nuts. That's a definition of a breakdown, man.
Yeah. Breakdown of a chai
crazy.
walla, bro. That's crazy. Anyway,
Spilled the tea. I guess you spilt the tea for us.
good one.
Ah, dear.
Good one.
That's what I'm
man.
here for, man. Someone's got
Yeah.
to make jokes, innit?
Spilled the chai walla tea. You know, the funny thing is, I didn't even get my correct order after all that.
You
was
got
like,
a
whatever.
refund though, right?
I didn't because I finished it by the 20 minutes that I was waiting for my mum and sister.
Great.
How did
Anyway.
they get it wrong? If it's that late,
Well, I got like, they do like caramel chai walla tea or something in it, and they didn't give me caramel. They just gave me
right?
bog
You just had
standard normal.
jar. That's it.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
Fair enough.
Like,
Well,
Could have had that home in 5 minutes.
yeah, literally.
we what else? We actually did do something. We actually played D&D over at mate's
Yeah,
house.
Jay was not involved for that.
Got involved,
we
but
did
me,
go-
Masam went. With some others.
Yeah, we did do D&D. Me and Hamza do D&D, which is one of the most nerdiest shit, but it's also one of the most fun shit, honestly. It's really fun. It's pretty funny because it's the first time we did it in person ever. And yeah, certain person of the party was doing very dumb stuff. I don't want to call them out though, because
I
he
think we should call him
listens.
out, I don't even remember.
I think you'd remember, bro. I'll
He's
give
the
you an
biggest
example.
listener. Literally
He's the biggest listener. He's the biggest Wally fan.
I think we should call him out.
Go on then. You can roll. You can.
I don't remember what
Ransom.
dumb stuff he was doing though. Give me one example. Do you remember anything?
Yeah, the flipping coaster.
Oh. Yeah, Abe, if you're listening, yeah, long day for you, bro. Long day for you. You got a shout out though, innit? That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Long day.
Go on, tell the story.
What the
Where
story of
is
the
it?
coaster?
Yeah, go
the
on.
story of the coast to coast.
He was first of all, he's falling asleep. He was literally falling asleep in the middle of the flipping session, yeah, like he always does. This guy falls asleep everywhere. He's one of those guys. He's one of
JJ
those
does
guys.
that.
Oh, what happened even?
Basically, it was
Oh,
his
yeah,
campaign,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was his campaign. We would do it in person thing because he's taking a break, and so is kind of Hamza's character. So this was like a good way to like roll off his campaign, which at this point we've been in for 2 years, by the way. So this is the climax of his actual own story, and no one like he wasn't paying attention and falling asleep.
He doesn't pay attention. Like every time he comes back, every new session that we do online, the Discord or whatever, every time he's like, "What happened? What happened?" Even when he's there every week, he misses a lot. But even when he's every week, he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. He's got to get sleep."
Low listener though.
Right.
I need to see more comments left in reels, bro.
So, hey, I'm sorry, bro. You just kept falling asleep, bro. And then this was towards the end of the session. He got a drink, and he started to put the drink on the floor, and then and then the other mate was like, "Why are you putting it on the floor? Don't put it on the floor. Someone's gonna kick it over. Just put it on the table. But get a coaster in it. What you do?" No, he said get a coaster. So he picks up the coaster. He puts the coaster underneath the mug and he starts to put it on the floor rather than the table. And everyone's just looking at him like, "Are you good, bro?"
But then he also picked up the drink, so then he was holding the coaster like this.
Yeah.
So.
Abe, shout out you, man. You're a special guy. Special guy.
You're saying he was basically doing this, right? So he had a coaster. You can't even see this is black. He had a coaster and a drink, and then he just held it like this.
Yeah.
Holding the coaster.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is
exactly.
Who comes up with that? How does your brain wire that way?
Yeah, who knows?
Comp sci guys, isn't it?
Whoa.
You're not comp sci.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
Feel the
You're-
comp sci. Feel my degrees in the field of comp sci.
Oh, God.
Show me your coding dissertation, bro.
Nah, none of that, mate. None of that.
So what's been happening in the world then? Japan's off to a hot start in 2024.
Interesting choice of words.
Yeah, day 1, 7.6 earthquake, tsunami warnings. Day 2, plane crash, 5 dead. Day 3, 3 dead, stabbings, train.
I thought didn't they all survive on the plane?
No,
The plane they
people
hit.
died.
The plane they
plane
hit.
hit.
People
Ah.
died.
Ah,
one, smaller one.
damn.
Yeah.
So a plane versus plane, it doesn't result in an explosion.
No, not necessarily.
Damn, GTA's
Depends
been
where
lying to
you
me.
hit it.
GTA's been lying to me the whole time, bro.
Yeah.
Have you seen the
GTA
video,
known
though?
for its physics simulation.
Yeah, bro.
The physics. Have you guys seen the video like on board? Like everyone was so and it's just
Screaming.
Japanese culture. No, everyone was calm when they were
Really?
evacuating. I'd seen the video on the bigger airplane. I haven't seen anything on the other one.
Right.
But on the bigger airplane, which was so basically one of them was like a commercial airline, just the way you travel internationally, and the other one was a smaller Coast Guard plane. So it makes sense. 5 of the 6 people on board the smaller Coast Guard one that obviously passed away. But yeah, there was a video on the big airline, like Japan Airlines, and everyone was just so calm while they're all getting like escorted off, which is pretty cool. Testament to Japanese culture, but that's how it should be. Most people would just like panic and start screaming, but I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, Japan's off to a
It is
start.
it is mad how stuff like that still happens, right? Like everyone says, "Oh, we got all this technology now, but you can't avoid 2 planes colliding with each other." It's not that difficult to miss a plane. It blows my mind. But
Yeah. You know, I've got a question, and neither of you will know because it's a geological question. When it comes to these gigantic earthquakes, like a 7 on the Richter scale, what's the likeliness it happens again, and how soon? Because you would think, logically speaking, right, if it's tectonic plates, surely it takes a while for them to get back into place where they're like going to rub off against each other again.
It depends. You get aftershocks, right? And
Yeah,
then you can
aftershocks don't
also
count
get-
though. I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah,
talking
you
about
get aftershocks, and then eventually some of those aftershocks can lead to a really big. Like the one that happened in Turkey, I don't know when that was, maybe a couple of years ago now. That one was back; it just kept coming back. But I know, but the aftershocks can be big as well. Like they call them aftershocks, but sometimes they can be bigger than the.
Nah, but what I mean more so like like an aftershock 10 months later don't count, right?
No.
just a new earthquake.
Aftershocks are like in like directly after, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
days or
yeah.
the weeks after it. Yeah, that's an
So that's what I'm
aftershock.
saying.
Another one's an actual earthquake. But
That's
so
what I'm
you're saying
saying.
next time an
Like
actual earthquake can happen.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
No reasoning why, There's nothing like happening at the end of the year.
I don't
That's
think
the
they're.
reason why I'm asking.
I don't think they're dependent, right? Like just because one's happened doesn't mean there's a X amount of time before the next one's guaranteed to happen.
I mean,
Isn't
yeah,
it?
I wouldn't
Isn't it
say there'd
more
be a set
random?
amount. I would have thought, logically speaking, if it's all based on like, I can't remember geography class, GCSE geography class, I never did it, but year 10, right? There's like 5 or 6 different ways tectonic plates interact
Yeah,
with each
there's
other or
different
something.
ways.
There's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and like,
I don't
why are you
remember.
pulling a face?
I don't
That's how
remember, bro.
earthquakes
I
work.
don't remember, bro. 6, 7 waves, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
like
because
4,
sometimes
5,
they
6
smack
of them.
into each other. Other times they're
That's what I'm saying.
already
They're
against
rubbing,
each other and
yeah.
then they
Yeah,
slip
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Separate. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So like, surely it takes a while for them to like, after that's happened, to reset. And I would just think, logically speaking, there's like not a consistent time period, but like,
Oh, no, man.
like, you know, it's like this is a terrible analogy, but let's say Alton Towers, bro. After the smiley, you know,
The smiler, bro.
not the smiley.
Smiley.
Not the smiley. No, I'll tell you what, people weren't smiling after that.
Yeah, that's
After the
true.
smiler, like, you know, it's kind of safe for the next 5 or 6
Yeah, I
months
get what you mean.
minimum. You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know, man. I don't know. This one was bad though. 7.6.
I don't think
Death
that's
toll was
similar.
92. It's not, definitely
How
not.
many people died? How many people died?
92 people from this article that I'm reading, which was 10 hours ago. So yeah,
Right. And the
250
tsunami?
missing. No tsunami, but I think there was no tsunamis, but there were tsunami warnings, if I'm not
Oh.
mistaken.
There was some flooding now
Yeah.
and again as well.
There was some, yeah. I don't know if there was a tsunami though. I haven't seen anything about a tsunami.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
20.
Well, there's different types of tsunamis, right? So there
a
was
small
definitely
tsunami. There was a
yeah,
small tsunami.
because
It
there are, you can
flooded
get tsunamis that
300 acres.
aren't massive waves. They just rise over the banks and then flood the whole area, rather than it being
Yeah,
one
small
massive
one,
wave.
yeah.
Oh, that's a little bitch tsunami. Little bitch boy tsunami.
Bro, you guys remember that old one though? The old school tsunami in Japan. That shit was scary.
Which
That
one?
was
The
some
Fukushima?
Armageddon. No, that was the nuclear reactor.
Yeah, that
wasn't
was
it?
the 2011
Yeah.
one.
But that
I'm
was
talking about,
still
you know, it had-
earthquake and tsunami.
Yeah. But I think it was the other one. It wasn't the one before that had like infamous tsunami.
I thought, I could be wrong here. I thought the infamous one, maybe you're referring to the Sri Lanka one, no? Like 2004 something.
Oh, I think I'm talking about the 2011 one then.
Yeah, the 2011.
Oh, was that the one that
Fukushima.
then it
That's
caused?
Fukushima.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, then
right.
it
Yeah.
caused
That was a
nuclear
9
radiation.
magnitude, and the waves reached.
That was a 9.
A 9, brother.
Damn, boy.
And the waves reached 24 feet.
Yeah, that's
7,
crazy.
7 meters.
That's crazy. I was watching this
Yeah,
video.
just swim, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know
Nah,
if
Jay.
it works that way.
Jay,
swim
Jay,
upwards.
just surf, lol.
Yeah,
Just
there you
surf,
go.
lol.
By the way, for record, really quickly, the biggest earthquake ever is a 9.4 to a 9.6 in 1960 in Chile.
Where? It goes up to a 10, I'm assuming, right? That's
Chile.
what I always
I
thought.
think it goes up to a 10, yeah.
Yeah,
Nuts.
that's crazy. I did not know the Fukushima one was a 9. It's actually kind of funny. I was watching I watched this guy abroad in Japan. Pretty sick. I've mentioned to you about him before, and he's doing this thing. He normally does like travels around Japan, abroad in Japan, who would have guessed it, right? So he does this thing right now. He's on like this trip going all across like north of it's called Honshu. I think it's called Honshu because
Sure.
Japan is like separated into 4 different islands.
Yep.
You got Hokkaido, you got Honshu, you got the other 2 at the bottom. I can't remember. It's like basically Japan's an archipelago in it. So anyway, he's doing like the north of the main island that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay, and including that on the travel, he's going back to Fukushima, and he did a Fukushima documentary like 5 or 6 years ago, and so he went back again this year, and it's pretty cool to show like how much they've done in terms of like restoration in like the last 13 years.
Mm.
And it's really cool to see how much I think it's like a crazy amount of money, like 2 trillion, something like that. Maybe I'm
Bloody hell.
might be inaccurate, but it's something like that. It's 2 something dollars. 2 trillion is, I think, accurate. 2 trillion or 200 billion dollars. Something is between them two. Big difference.
187 billion.
Okay, so 200 billion then.
Yeah,
200
billion.
billion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
200
only
billion.
a few factors.
Yeah. Only by
2
1,000,
trillion. I don't
bro.
think Japan can afford 2 trillion, brother.
You never
They're in a
know.
rough
But
place.
the point is though, there's still a long way to go. And it's like a whole big campaign, which is obviously they want to restore the land. But the problem and why it's difficult with the whole nuclear radiation is because a lot of that area, I think Fukushima is a prefecture. I can't remember. I think Fukushima is the prefecture. But anyway, the reason why it's kind of hard is, at least to that area, is a lot of like mountainous areas. So it's like, how the hell do you drop the radiation in mountainous areas and
Yeah,
stuff?
it's a prefecture.
Yeah, it's prefecture. So it's a pretty. I mean, it's not really ironic considering Japan, I swear, like has an earthquake every time. They're like one of the
One of
most
the sumo guys moves, the whole thing.
the Tokyo Dome, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, these in East Asia, bro, the speed at which they renovate is not even comparable to stuff here. It takes us like 10
really
years
good.
to fix one pothole. And these mans have got, I don't know if you lot have seen in China as well, they've got robots that literally lift buildings up. So if something's
Buildings.
collapsed, if something's collapsed,
building apartment, like an apartment.
yeah, like a genuine, like a tower block. They have
Wow.
robots that go like, they drop the ground a bit, they go underneath the building, they lift it up, and then they redo the foundations, and then they merge it back on.
That's nuts. That's
So you can fix a building in like a week.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's crazy. So these guys,
You know, it's always interesting when you see like how depending on like, I mean, that's what you just explained is essentially modern day adaptability, right? Like literally, we don't need to worry about that. In Slough, thank God, we don't need to worry about that. You're never going to see that tech here. It's just the reality.
No,
I mean, you're not going to see a lot of stuff in Slough.
There's nothing in Slough. There's nothing in Slough.
You're going to see a lot of stuff.
Is there still an exclusion zone in Fukushima?
Yeah. So that's the cool thing. Like, I think I literally watched the video 2 days ago yesterday. It's like different areas. I think they're doing like a hexagonal like areas, and they've like cleansing certain areas which is possible. And so like certain areas have, this is the cool thing. What's it called? Geiger count. It's called Geiger count in it, the radiation.
Yeah.
So in the video, in the 20-minute video of his, he essentially goes to different areas around the prefecture, and it's like the Geiger counter is like, might be wrong by a factor of 1,000 again here. But it's like 0.2 or 0.02. I can't remember. It's one of those two. Okay. And for context, that is like less radiation than London, for example. So it's pretty cool. So, and they've got like little Geiger counters throughout. So certain areas you still can't, like, you're not allowed to just like park the car and roll down the windows because it's just like harmful zone still. And they like basically tell you get the flip out as soon as possible. But it's pretty cool how much of like life has been restored to that area.
It is crazy because even with Chernobyl, obviously that was different. That was an actual reactor blowing and shooting up in the sky, which was way worse. But with that, I remember they showed when they tried to keep it a secret, they took Geiger counters in near the plant that broke, so like literally ground zero, and it was reading I think 13. And so that's why they tried to cover it up, because they were like, okay, 13's bad, but it's not that bad. But that's because that Geiger counter maxed out at 13. So then they went and got a proper Geiger counter, and the reading was like 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Because it was
unreal.
absolutely finished.
Isn't that, I haven't seen it yet, but isn't that like referenced in the Chernobyl show? What you just said?
Yeah, they do that in the show as well. Yeah. So, I mean, that was crazy. I think they said Chernobyl was equivalent to, I think it's like 10 Hiroshima bombs. It's like 200 tons of TNT, basically.
Whoa.
That's nuts.
Whoa.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm surprised Fukushima, there is still an exclusion zone, but I guess it wasn't that bad that they could restore stuff pretty rapidly.
It's also interesting because like the Japanese have like this like culture, and like there's this big thing. This is this big thing, like a big theme in a lot of their movies, TV shows, and society in general, about the idea of like countrysides and ghost towns and people moving out of there going into the city. Funny enough, I've watched a good Studio Ghibli movie on that, pretty good one of the OG ones, and it's like a big theme. It's a big theme with what they in their life, obviously, because Tokyo is like, is Tokyo the biggest city in the world, or is Seoul? Or is Seoul the most densely populated? I always get mixed between
Tokyo's
the highest
Tokyo,
population in the world.
Yeah. So like obviously people leave the countryside for the cities. So like that whole Fukushima thing is also kind of like, you know, like knowing that makes that whole restoration element like also interesting, because it's links with their whole general culture of like, you know, disabandoning these countrysides and the land and blah blah blah, which is why I'm sure that they are just spending 200 billion and they keep going with it, because I promise you that shit in like any of the other Western countries, yeah, GG bro, we firmed the L.
Yeah,
100%.
Yes, we'll firm the L. Like, just move away, bro. So it's just interesting to see how they, like, how their, their general society and culture influences those decisions. Obviously, Chernobyl, it's going to be impossible when you say 2 billion. I think I saw a video that said like the air is still not breathable for like another 200 years or some shit like that.
Yeah,
So
nuclear
it's
is long.
so it's an impossible job really, but it's just still interesting how much that they've put into it, because
I think luckily the
billion.
reactor was only in a place which had a population of 11,000, which
Fukushima's
Well,
or
in Japan.
Fukushima, yeah.
It's pretty funny as well. One of
But
the
so in other words, that woman was there was a woman on the train who was slashing and dashing people.
Okay, what?
What?
Yeah, tell me about this story.
Yeah,
I don't know
Wait,
about this
what?
story.
the stabbings on the train.
Yeah.
So I don't think she killed anyone.
She didn't kill anyone.
Not from the article I'm reading here on the Japan Times. But she slashed like I think 4 guys. Yeah, 4 times. I mean, it's pretty. I'm gonna go to Japan Times for Japan news. I'm not gonna go Daily Mail, unless it's Daily Mail Japan.
It's dailymail.jpn or whatever their flipping code is.
She wanted to kill people, but clearly she wasn't very good at the job.
Yeah.
Because only 4 men. Yeah, 4 men got sustained injuries and stuff, and then it was like 15 centimeters long. It's crazy, and she had another one in the bag.
15.
Yeah,
That's
big,
crazy, bro. And that's a lot. For
yeah,
some
sure,
people.
15 centimeters.
Let me stand up.
Wait, hold on a second. So,
Not your height, bro.
Where's the station? You're talking to 2 short kings, bro. Where was it? Where was the
It was
station?
Tokyo's Yamanote Loop Line.
Okay, so it's Tokyo Station. It's in Tokyo.
Yeah,
You
it was
said it's
Tokyo.
in
Yeah, it was Tokyo. Yeah.
That's so interesting, because that's another thing. Like, the man treat their flipping train station like flipping royalty.
I saw
bro.
a Harry
You know
Potter
how
train
it's-
station as well. Looked pretty cool.
A what?
What?
Apart
It's
from
like a Harry
having
Potter
3/4.
themed. No, it's like it's like a Harry Potter themed one. You come out, they got stuff on the walls, music playing, like a big Harry Potter sign.
What
Oh,
the
right.
flip, bro?
Yeah.
Bruv, just go to Oxford. It's right there.
Bro,
It's
it's
literally where they
King's Cross,
filmed
isn't
it.
it? Isn't it King's Cross? It's King's Cross
Yeah.
9
you-
3/4, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'm saying they filmed most of the
They
Hogwarts
filmed
scenes
know-
in
in
Oxford.
Slough as well,
Uni.
bro. Burnham Beaches.
Yeah, but that's a
Did they?
studio. That's different, lads.
No, Burnham Beaches. They filmed in the woods.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
What, all the wooded
yeah.
scenes?
I don't know which movie it was, but
Because that's right next to Thingy, innit? What's the name
Yeah,
of the
Pinewood
studio? Yeah,
Studios.
Pinewood. That's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they did all the stuff in Pinewood. So obviously they're just gonna go down the road.
Shout out Slough, innit? Was on the map.
I mean, technically it's either, but yeah.
that's
See,
not-
that's
So
Burnham Beach is Slough.
what was this woman's weapon? Just like a bit of
It's
metal
knife.
or what?
Big old knife, I think. Big old
That's
knife.
crazy.
you know what? She's a failure. For being
I mean,
honest, isn't
technically,
it?
yeah, she had a
I
job
mean,
and she
she's a
didn't do it.
failure.
Just like the
She should do
child
it.
war lower.
Yeah, exactly.
They both had a job and they both failed.
They both failed. You know what? They all
They both failed.
But they couldn't hack it. Couldn't hack it.
She literally couldn't hack it.
Yeah,
She
couldn't.
literally couldn't hack it.
She couldn't hack it. All I'm
What?
saying is,
Okay.
yeah, good that they didn't die, yeah. But
Yeah, obviously.
how? Obviously, that goes without saying. But how are you stabbing one guy and moving on to the next victim? Like, at least finish the job. Are you going to 5 man? What's going on with there? Just a
What-
bit confused.
Was she mentally ill or like what was the reason that they said?
Oh, I don't know. I think they just arrested her.
Listen, mentally ill has never stopped anyone's aim. Okay. If
I
we're
mean, all
being honest.
sociopaths that's mentally ill, they got the job done. Psychopaths.
Yeah, true. You know, speaking of
Jay
which,
Dharma.
speaking of which, you mentioned this
we need to
before,
get
but
off this joke. It's like
No,
I haven't
no,
done
no.
anything.
I'm transitioning. Pistorius is officially out. on
Oscar
probation.
Pisti.
Yeah, Oscar
Oscar
Pisti.
Pisti's out. Now you
Oscar
want to bring it
Pisti.
up. Yeah, when I brought
Yeah,
it up.
no, because he's officially out now.
Oh,
You were like,
right.
oh, maybe he'll be out on probation. He's officially out now.
Yeah,
like
Oscar
after 11
Pisti's
years.
out. He's at his rich
Great.
uncle's place rehabbing, I think. He's found God.
Did he? I mean, it's standard, innit? I mean, when you're in jail,
It happens to
everybody-
90%
loads
of people.
It does. 90% of people find
Yeah,
faith when
to be
they're
fair.
in rock bottom, and there's
fair, the
nothing more
lowest
rock
lows.
bottom.
So you know
Yeah,
what's the funniest shit? I saw this on TikTok the other day. Well, Instagram. I don't use TikTok, but this woman.
Raw.
Sponsor us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
carry on.
sponsor us. Don't sponsor us. This woman, everyone was rinsing her. Oh my days, she was getting absolutely finitoed on online, all platforms, because she was saying how she's just found God after realizing OnlyFans is not the route she wants to take.
Fair
And now-
enough to her, innit?
Now she's like, I'm using my experience to get other people out of the industry. And now she's just
Fair
saying, yeah, it's all because of God. People are like, shut the hell up, man.
Hey, yo, we want girls to get off the OnlyFans, and when they get off, we can't hate them for it.
Hey, yo, speak for yourself.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. That's mad. That's mad. OnlyFans sponsor us? Forget Patreon, we go on OnlyFans.
Yeah, you would never do that.
You know
Nah,
what?
I'm not saying we have to release anything like that. We can just put our Patreon content on OnlyFans instead.
Oh man, you reminded me, and I'm gonna butcher this because this is an impromptu thing. But I think there was like a Royal Navy officer who got like kicked out of the Navy because he got found for OnlyFans. He got found. This OnlyFans got found. Let me try
Royal
to find
Navy, you
that.
need to bump up your paychecks, man.
Bro.
You're not doing enough.
Let me
It sounds
find
like I Fly Line Night Part 2. Don got kicked out of the Air Force for going on. What was
bro, my
it?
man was ahead of his time. Bro. I
He
want to
was,
say
he
he
was.
was ahead of his time. If anybody knows iFly, OG, literally ahead of his time. He's an old school COD
This
YouTuber,
was,
Hamza,
yeah.
who got basically got caught because he used to do like chatbait stuff. He used to do triple X-rated stuff into the camera, except he wouldn't show his face. And somebody, some real hater, some absolute real hater, clocked it because of the doorknob in the guy's background. Was like, hold on a second, that's the same one I fly had. And so then he got caught, and then yeah, got yeeted out of the army because somebody ratted on him. All right, and then there were two. We've been left. We've been abandoned. Anyway, it's now the J and Masam special. The MJ,
Let's go.
the PB&G. All right, yeah, let's move on from iFly because ain't nobody gonna know. If you know, you're OG, absolute OG.
Yeah.
Maybe Usman, I
Top
know
tier
you might know.
content.
Usman, maybe you might know. But anyway, I want to talk about the Mickey Mouse thing because I think it's pretty interesting. So, the Mickey Mouse thing, if people don't know, Mickey Mouse has illegally become part of the public domain. But this is what's interesting. So, in American copyright law, in American legislation, I'm not sure what the correct terminology is, you can only have a copyright law for essentially 95 years. That's the rule. I don't know if that only applies to American IPs. This is the bit that's a bit confusing. This is the bit we might need a lawyer on because we don't know shit on that. But Mickey Mouse, the first Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat, the classic OG one, the black and white one that I'm pretty sure everyone has seen at this point, that in itself, the IP has now officially entered public domain. So what that means is, and this was the case if you remember with Winnie the Pooh, like last year when somebody made Winnie the Pooh the horror movie, anybody can legally make something with Mickey Mouse. Yeah,
That was so disgusting. Oh.
yeah.
Did
And
you watch
don't
it?
disrespect. No, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to disrespect flipping my boy Winnie like that. Listen, if Hamza was here, me and him would go off right now and do some Winnie the Pooh actions like that OG Disney tier list. But the Mickey Mouse one, they've done the same. Funny enough, it's pretty interesting. I think he entered the public domain like when was it? Maybe let's just let's give it a fake date. But let's say it was like January 1st. And then within the date of January 1st, they already announced there was a Mickey Mouse movie in 2 games. So people were already working on that to just then legally be like, yeah, and we're doing this. But like I said, it's the OG black and white one. They've done a similar thing where it's Mickey Mouse like horror, exact same as Winnie the Pooh. And then there's been 2 games, right? So the reason I want to bring this up is there's some other interesting properties, American properties that are going to enter the public domain in the next decade.
Wait, so before that, why have they made Mickey Mouse public? What's the gain?
No, it's just the rule. It's just the law. Like you can only have copyright for 95 years. Yeah, that's it. So funny enough, this is the important distinction here. It's the specific Steamboat Mickey, right? Which refers to the actual first Disney film, short film, whatever. I don't know what the classification is. Modern day Mickey, the one everybody really is known, the that mini Mickey, right? The one exactly. There you go. I lost my voice, so I couldn't do it. The one you see on Disney Channel, yeah, the one you see in Disneyland, that one, the colored-in version.
Yeah.
He's not public domain. So Disney officially said, if anybody tries to touch that, bitch, you're getting sued. It's just the old one, right?
So with how this works, right? So okay, it's public domain, which means that anyone can then use that caricature to do whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
Does Disney still get royalties off stuff that's made?
No, because legally you don't need to license it, right? If you don't need to license it, then there's no royalties necessary to be given. So they don't claim anything. It's just free IP now at this point. Just free IP. So anybody can use it, whatever. So in theory, I mean, they would never do it. But I think legally, in theory, Warner Brothers could flip and do a flipping Mickey on the
Yeah.
Steamboat Mickey, right? Anybody could. So this is the other thing. I wanted to talk about this article that I saw, other things that are entering the public domain. And it's really interesting because, just to summarize, you said the Winnie the Pooh movie,
Mm.
it made very little money, it made like
Yeah,
2.5 million, but because the actual budget was like 100 grand, it still made profit, ironically, to you saying it's a bad movie. So I'm going to name some of these, right, with the copyright expires. The copyright is going to expire soon. This is the bit that's kind of confusing, and this is the bit that I don't understand. Some of these are not American IPs. Now it makes me think that, does that mean American companies can do it?
Mhm.
This is the bit that's confusing. I'll
Okay.
name them off. So Mickey was this year. Pluto is next year,
Oh
2025.
yeah.
Pluto, which is Goofy's dog.
The Kutta,
Don,
yeah.
yeah, the good dog. Yeah. Donald Duck is 2029.
All right.
Superman is 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, the characters from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. That's why it's
Right.
confusing, because he's
Right.
British. 2033. James Bond, 2034. Another one that's confusing is Ian Fleming. Batman, 2034. Captain Marvel, aka DC's Shazam, because he was originally called Captain Marvel, 2034. The Flash, 2035, but that's not Barry Allen, whatever. That's the original Jay Garrick one. That's the old Buddha with the flipping silver hat. Okay, 2035. Captain
Okay.
America, 2036. Aquaman, 2036.
And no
And
one's using that. No one's using that.
And Wonder Woman 2036.
Okay, so
So
some of these are very interesting.
yeah,
What would you do? Man, that's wild.
yeah, I know. And
James Bond is one. That's like
yeah,
one series,
yeah,
right?
I don't understand. I actually don't understand the James Bond and then the Tolkien one. This is the one I want to like further research and see if people know, because if you do, leave in the comment section down below. I doubt any of you man are lawyers. But like, how can they do that if those are British? They're British. Ian Fleming, Tolkien, they're British. I don't understand how the American copyright legislation works with those ones. The other ones I totally get because they're American.
And is this all for specifically entertainment stuff, or is it like after that copyright ends, then American companies can make
Merchandising.
whatever merch and shit?
Yeah, so that's the other interesting thing, because I wonder, just the same way with Mickey, how that's why I'm specifically mentioning Mickey. Like Mickey, the black and white one, you can do shit too. I wonder if that also applies to those Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Jay, Captain, those superheroes. It's the golden age. It's that first initial like design, that first release. I
Yeah.
wonder if it's some kind of special criteria, some kind of way that Warner Brothers can protect. Because I've just named you Warner Brothers' biggest IPs. Warner Brothers are finished in the next 10 years, right?
Yeah, that can't be right.
Yeah.
It
So
can't be right.
so
Otherwise, like, where's Marvel? Because they released stuff ages ago too. Their first ever novel. Like, when
yeah.
was that?
Marvel actually relatively. I mean, I mentioned Captain America. Captain America predates Marvel, I'm pretty
Right.
sure. So Captain America is 2036. Marvel's a little bit later. So I'm going to read some of the stuff, because ultimately you will probably never see a Warner Brothers, like, let's just say Warner Brothers is a bad example because I'm mentioning Warner Brothers IP, but like, let's say you won't probably see Disney do a flipping Superman first edition, because I think guaranteed there'll be so much like legal red tape caveats that they're just not worth it. Because I'm reading here and it goes, and I'll read the specific paragraph. Just because characters like Superman enter the public domain in 2033 doesn't mean that anyone will be able to use the character however they wish. Okay, I read that weird. They won't be able to use the character however they wish. US copyright law is complex, and public domain comes with caveats. So yeah, it's a sticky one. It's a real sticky one.
Right.
But it's interesting because
it sounds like they'll be able to relax the licensing for stuff. So
yeah,
you'd be able to get random companies making Superman plushies and stuff like that. And maybe they could gain the license to make a TV series, but Warner Brothers would still be involved and stuff like that, right?
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Maybe. Either way, I would not be surprised if exactly what you're saying. It might be a case of like, weird one, because technically it's royalties, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a case where Warner Brothers still gets a cut. You know what I mean? If you like make a movie or something. But I mean, now we've got precedent. This is becoming more and more apparent and then a bigger thing. Winnie the Pooh was the first one. I'm sure there was probably something before. There's actually a bunch of stuff, obviously, because this law's been going on since 1920 something. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if, with American legislation, if eventually this becomes such a big thing, because these are gigantic American IPs. These are like establishments of American capitalism. If there'll be a thing where like the Supreme Court eventually get involved and be like, whoa, 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 let's clarify this. Let's clarify this precedent. Let's like put in actual rules and regulations. Who knows? But it's like the first domino started with Winnie, and now with Mickey, it's gonna be curious to see where it goes. Because imagine if the
Yeah.
Mickey game, imagine if the Mickey game is the flipping biggest game of 2030, 2025 whenever it comes out. Like then there's no way. I don't care about this rule, bro. There's no way Disney are gonna be like, hold on a second. Hold on
See,
a second.
I don't believe it's never going to be legally possible where we could be in a world where Disney makes no money from Disney characters.
Yeah, I know,
Right?
right?
That's just
Yeah.
that's not possible.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just create something and then someone else steals it and it's like, well, it's public now. So
Yeah.
they're definitely going to implement something, and Disney has enough lawyers to fix that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. It's like Disney. You're fighting against Disney, bro. They're the flipping.
Say that.
They're the
You
evil
say that.
corporation. They're the biggest
say-
corporation.
Have you seen the film? Is it called Burial? Have you seen the film Burial
Is
with
that the Ryan
Jamie
Reynolds?
Foxx?
Oh no, no.
No, the one with Jamie Foxx. He plays. He's basically known. He plays a lawyer,
Mm,
an American lawyer, and he's known as the the corporate killer because
sure.
he takes on cases against massive corporations,
Mm,
and he's made a name for himself for winning all these cases, right?
sure.
And in the film, they show a very specific case of someone like trying to buy some like low level farmers farmland over different parts of the US, and then he tries to fight this big corporation and get his land back and all that stuff, right? And then it turns into a massive thing. But this guy, after he did that, that was like one of his most famous cases. After that, he took on a case against Disney because these two guys basically
Yeah.
planned some sort of theme park
Mm,
that they were going to implement. They pitched it to Disney to implement in Disney worlds across the world, right?
okay.
And then they made this like massive theme park with like winter sports and stuff, and then themed it with Disney characters. And then they had like, I don't know, over like 3 to 5 years of back and forth with Disney over this and making blueprints and all that type of stuff and getting the rights and stuff. And then Disney just cut it off. They said, "No, you can't do this." And then like 5 years later, they made their
They
own
copied.
version of that and
Yeah.
just copied the exact same thing. So these guys
they
took
win?
Disney to court. Yeah, so they took him to court
Nice.
with this lawyer,
Yeah.
and they ended up winning the case. And I mean, it was going to be, I don't know, maybe like 50 mil whatever to make this theme
Sure.
park a reality. They ended up winning the case and getting compensation of like 400 million
Nice.
from
yeah.
Disney, which is
Nice.
crazy, right? Because you always hear
Nice.
about them being this evil corp
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
do what they want.
Yeah.
But then these two little brothers
That's
from
cool.
some random garage then just won 400 mil off them. So
That's cool. So you know what? You know what I'm gonna say? And maybe people they should know. We released that last time since. Those guys, the guy who won the Pepsi competition, bro, should have hired Jamie Foxx lawyer, bro. That's what
Should
should have
have.
happened.
he should have won that
innit?
jet.
He should have. Hold on a second. I'm curious. I have to look this up. Was that the Prime one? I know Jamie did like a lawyer movie that just dropped on Prime. Was that the same one? Just the end of the
It
year.
dropped a little while ago. It was on one of the streaming platforms, maybe Prime, maybe Netflix.
Okay. Maybe I have heard of it. I only know Jamie's a lawyer in this most recent movie. That's the only thing. I
Yeah,
know.
The Burial is what it's called. Yeah, Prime,
Yeah, that's the one.
2023.
Sure. Yeah,
It's
that's
got
cool.
what's the freaking? He was also a producer on it. It's got a big level actor. I always forget his name. Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh,
He was
right,
the
right,
he was the
right.
main the main
Sure.
guy who hired Jamie Foxx.
Sure.
But yeah, really cool film. Disney got mudded, which is good for once.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You know, it's funny because the goated IP which you disrespect on the usual Blade Runner.
Don't say
Blade
that,
Runner.
okay.
So listen, what I'm gonna say is, so the most you didn't. I know what I just said wasn't English, but there was about 50 thoughts that run into my mind. Unfortunately, I don't think it was recorded when you talked about the big tech companies all coming together against Google and shit, right?
No, it was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
fell through.
So
It was meant to be this
yeah,
episode that we released.
yeah, it was this episode. So unfortunately, real quick, TLDR, bunch of big corporations coming together to fight on Google and the AI, okay? Including
They're called
Microsoft,
the AI Alliance. Yeah.
the AI Alliance, Microsoft.
No Microsoft. No Microsoft. They weren't involved.
Oh, who's it?
It was Meta, IBM,
Meta.
NASA,
Yeah.
What's the freaking main? Oh my god, the Geneva thing. What is that called? CERN. Is that in Geneva? I
Okay.
don't know where that is.
Sure.
One of the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, CERN, Imperial College London, bunch of like unis and stuff, and
That
then
was it. Yeah.
big
Yeah.
corporations.
So like, and they call it AI. What was it again? Sorry, the AI
AI
Alliance. Yeah?
Alliance.
I'm telling you, when it comes to the future, yeah, the most spitting facts. I keep hitting the mic. Sorry, the most spitting facts thing is in that cyberpunk reality when there's no longer flipping when there's no longer governments and shit, and it's just corporations. You're gonna have an AI Alliance. You're gonna have Google. You're gonna have Disney, bro. You're gonna have like a Microsoft.
You're gonna
That's
have
what it's gonna be.
Apple and
That's what I'm saying.
Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if people haven't watched Blade Runner, then what the flip are you doing? Because that cyberpunk element of like Coca-Cola, it's funny because if you go back now, that was Ridley at like the 80s, right? So it's completely different industry, completely different world. I mean, literally, Google didn't exist, right? Microsoft didn't exist in the 80s, I don't think, right?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe didn't.
Maybe late 80s.
Yeah, maybe late 80s. Same for Apple, right? Maybe Apple's late 90s. But the point is, they weren't really fully fledged companies, right?
No, they weren't.
So, like, I'm gonna name you some of the companies that were like the corporate titans, yeah, that the ones that rule the world. People don't really know what I'm trying to get out. They should play like Cyberpunk because the idea is eventually corporations will become like more prestigious and outlast the actual, governments. So corporations run the world, right? And let me read you the ones Ridley Scott's from the 80s, which is kind of funny now because I'd say there's probably one of them that are relevant, and I'll leave it to the
This
end.
is what he thought would be the ones that are outstanding after like dystopian future. Right?
Yeah, dystopian future, and those are the ones that are prevalent in Blade Runner, the first
back
one,
in the day.
Which, which is 1984, I think. I'm curious to see 2020, the more recent one if it changed. Atari, lol. RCA Corp, lol. Bell Telephone, lol. Cuisine Art. I don't know what that is.
How do you spell that?
Cuisine without the E, and then it's just art at the end. COS headphones.
Cuisine Art is still about.
Okay. Yeah, apparently. COS headphones. Sing Tao Bear, bro. Sing Tao Bear. That sounds like
Big man. Listen, no one from the 80s knew these companies either.
Okay, you know these two. Pan Am.
Okay. Yeah.
Coca-Cola. You got one right, bro. You got one right. I would say Coca-Cola, bro. So like that's the.
Is Pan Am bust?
Oh, did it?
I don't remember. They had a bunch of crashes. I know that.
Yeah.
They might still be. I don't even know. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So there you go. Pan Am might be bust. Pan Am might be bust. So that's the cool thing. In that.
No McDonald's. He didn't pick McDonald's. They were definitely around.
Yeah, bro. Are they all around? And he should pick McDonald's, bro. McDonald's will be up there now, bro. That would be a funny segment, bro. Cuisine, what the flip is that? If you know any of those, these companies, leave a comment down below.
I can't believe that.
But anyway, I was just wondering, like, is there any, just to go back, like any IPs that you'd want the public domain that you think would be good? Because it seems like the go-to now, like, albeit, like I said, I'm sure there's loads of ones that are not as, famous as Winnie and Mickey, and this has been going around for a while. I'm sure there's other IPs that have become public domain and we just don't even know, don't really heard about it. In fact,
think they would. Well, go on.
I was going to say, in fact, I think one of them was, what's that Netflix movie? The Western Front or something? Something Western Front.
Oh yeah, all something on the Western Front.
Yeah. I think that's actually an example as well. But it's interesting how
that was a remake, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a remake. Yeah, so I think the original, I think it's a book originally that is now public domain. As
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yes. So I'm curious, what would you want? What is there any IPs that you'd want? And the thing is, I don't like how they go to Winnie and Mickey, making them horror. It's a bit boring. I get that they're like these child-friendly icons, and it's just like, oh, let's completely flip the script. Just a bit lazy, isn't it, though? Just a bit lazy.
I think there are a bunch of we'll split this into two, right? You got the old school stuff, which is literally like Winnie and Mickey Mouse that you could do a lot with because they've just been around for ages. You take them in different directions. But first of all, I think there's loads of modern IPs that just could be done way better if they weren't in the hands of idiots, right?
Oh,
you look at shit like Power Rangers, Transformers,
Facts,
Godzilla,
bro.
bro. Anything that is required, take the humans away and just have cool combat,
Yeah, I
right?
know. You know, it's funny you say this, okay? Because I'm 100% agreeing with you, the Godzilla thing, until -1, bro. I honestly, the human aspect of -1, because I agree with you. My normal
Yeah, but that's
sentiment.
Japanese. It's
Yeah, I know
different.
it's different. I agree, it's different, right? You know, I wonder what the Japanese legislation is on public domain, bro. I bet you Japanese they keep it forever, bro. I
I
bet
have
you,
no idea.
I bet you the Japanese keep it. I bet you Godzilla's never gonna be in the free domain, bro.
All I'm saying is, it's things. Okay, IPs, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
trilogies, whatever.
yeah,
They're only amazing when the human aspect is done really well. Okay,
yeah.
you
Sure,
look at the first. I mean, some people hate on this film. I think we spoke about this film before as well. But you look at the first ever Pacific Rim, which was
sure.
directed and produced by Guillermo del Toro, right?
Yeah,
Amazing director.
yeah,
Creator of Pan's Labyrinth and a bunch of other stuff.
yeah,
That first one with Idris and whatever, the whole story was done really well because the humans were at the center and then
sure.
their world was collapsing and they had to make
Yeah,
these robots to like fight stuff, right?
yeah.
The second one, absolutely trash because it was
I
like
never watched it,
some.
you know. Never
I
watched it.
saw is dead. It's so bad.
That was the one with
It's
John
like
Boyega, right?
Michael Bay came from the dead basically and decided to make another film. Tragic. It was what's the black actor's name? I always forget his
It's
name.
John
The guy
Boyega.
from
Wasn't it
Attack
John
the Block.
Boyega?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
John
it. John
Boyega. Yeah,
Boyega. John Boyega.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a great actor, but the story was trash to begin with,
Sure,
and the writing
sure.
was bad, right? So it was always
Yeah.
going to be bad. The way the Japanese do stuff is really well because is done really well because they understand how to make character narratives that take into the account the emotion of the
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
right? And they
yeah, yeah.
usually only focus on one or two main characters.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
look at
Sure.
American stuff, and they throw like 60 dudes at you. You're like, I don't
Yeah.
remember this guy's name. No
Yeah,
one
for
cares about
sure.
him.
And
And
on
he
top of
dies in
that,
2 minutes.
yeah, that's the other thing that I was gonna say. Until that he just dies. Sometimes, listen, I'm not okay. So my take is like, you know, sometimes characters don't have to die to make the story good. And when people do stories and they just have a character just to die, it is so cheap and effortless. Like sometimes it's just boring. It's not done well, and that is 100% in these like. Wow, man, I'm actually such a fraud. What do you call these flipping? What do you call these big the big monster things in
Kaiju.
Japanese? Kaiju's, all these kaiju movies, right? Like Pacific Rim, the Godzillas.
Yeah.
Like when you got dons who are just there to fill up numbers, it is lame. It's
Yeah, it's
lame.
boring.
It's boring. It's boring because it's like, bro, I don't care if you're talking right now. I don't want to see. And I'm reiterating this again, but it's fitting now with Godzilla, with the main character. That was my take, okay? Initially, because I'm not familiar with any of the Japanese Godzilla movies like you are, right? So I like the Godzilla Kongs, but I treat it like genuinely just popcorn. It's the same way with Transformers. What you just explained is Transformers, how they got like one time they got Shia LaBeouf, and then the next ones they got flipping Marky Mark, and they got
Right.
next anybody. Who cares at that point? It's just like filler. And I was like, sometimes you just want to see Optimus go ham, bro. You don't want to see Marky Mark. Why? I don't care about Marky Mark, yeah? And so Godzilla sometimes it's true. So sometimes you watch Godzilla and you just want to see Godzilla. You just want to see Godzilla and Kong just do dumb shit because that's what you sign up for. You don't want to see Millie Bobby Brown like controlling Godzilla on some lame thing. That's dumb. And -1, when -1 started, I was like respectfully, I don't care if he's a kamikaze pilot in it. And then you watch the movie and you're like, bro. That scene when they're like all like flipping saluting him, bro. Yeah, I was standing up in the cinema saluting him, bro. Such an epic scene. And yeah, so it's just like sometimes it's so funny how Western films do. I know it doesn't count, but I'm gonna consider Transformers a part of that kaiju stuff and Power Rangers because Power Rangers is like kaiju stuff because with the Megazords. It's just funny how Westerners do it. It is really funny.
It's so dumb because they take the characters and the lore of what makes something really good, and then they just say, let's just throw this at a wall and see which one sticks, basically, right?
Sure,
I mean, could you name me outside of Optimus and Bumblebee which Transformer actually has been in all the films?
No, none,
and Megatron.
Bro.
It's just them, right?
None.
So you see one in one film. There's one where there's like a Japanese samurai that's like a Bugatti and a helicopter. And then the next film, he just doesn't appear. You're like, what happened to that guy? What happened to that geezer?
For
It's,
sure, bro.
that's the thing.
Jay,
So
the
it's
meme, bro. The meme when they killed Jazz in the first one, bro.
yeah, exactly.
When they killed Jazz in the first one. You know what? It's such an example. Like the reason why Transformers doesn't do well is exactly what you're saying. Like, ironically, I mean, you got Michael Bay. What do you expect? Number one, you got Michael Bay. What do you expect, right?
Yeah.
But number two, it's exactly what you're saying. It's a rotating cast, and it's like, who gives a shit, really? You're not gonna have no attachment. It's like, bro, I didn't watch it. I know you said it was pretty decent, Rise of the Beasts. Like, I don't know the gorilla's name or the saber-toothed Don's name. Like, it's kind of going to be hard to it's hard to get new people who don't care to be interested in a new bunch of characters, and they don't really care about the IP when they're like no name people to begin with. It's like you're just like at that point you're just like tailoring to your own audience, and it's not
Yeah,
a good way
it's
to
a
do.
tough one. It is a tough one because you want to introduce new lore.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's literally Marvel, right? Back to
yeah,
origin story every film, right? Which you don't want to
yeah,
do because then it's not going to make any money. So you want to introduce new lore, but then at the same time, if the story's whack, no one's going to care about the characters, right?
yeah. It's true.
You said So first of all, the Gorilla Don, right?
Yeah,
The name, I mean, I'm sure his name has come from the comics and there's like lore behind it, but you watch it in
yeah.
the cinema and you think this is the shittest design of a character because his name is Optimus Primal.
Oh.
That's it. Right? So you
Optimus
watch it
Primal.
and then the whole cinema's creasing because it's like,
Oh
who
my
gives a
God.
shit?
Yeah,
You know, he's a B-Tech Optimus Prime.
yeah,
And then how they explain that in the film is they just say, oh yeah, he was named after Optimus Prime.
yeah.
Brother,
That's lame. That's
he's
lame.
a gorilla. You're saying he's been inside the earth for 3 million years.
Yeah,
and
that's
he was
lame.
named after this geese. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
dumb.
that's lame. That's lame for
So
sure.
if you don't do it right, yeah, it makes sense. But
For sure. Anything else other than like kaiju properties, basically?
kaiju stuff. What else would be really cool? IPs, old IPs. A lot of the Disney stuff would be really cool, just to not
Yeah,
be a musical, right? Or not be a tale of
sure.
learning who the character is and stuff.
Yeah,
So those would all be cool. Like imagine like a scary Lion King, right? Or a whatever, I don't know, like a survival of the fittest Jungle Book, where you just got animals coming at you all over the place.
yeah.
That would be interesting.
Mowgli dies in the beginning of the
Oh
movie.
yeah, exactly. Right?
Mowgli dies.
Mowgli dies. And then...
Bare necessities. The bear eating him, bro. Nah, back to honestly, let's see that.
That'd be cool. What other cool IPs are there?
I honestly you've hit bang on the nail. Like the irony is, I think it is just all the classic like Disney properties. If for sure it's the classic Disney properties. Because think of the comic books. I'll give the Superman one. Like to the Superman one is kind of like I love Superman. Yeah, Superman is probably my third, second. It's close. It's like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman. Like as generic as that, right? But with Superman, because he's a character that is literally a part of American society at this point, right? Everybody, Superman is probably the most recognizable name brand superhero. It's debatable at this point whether Spider-Man's more famous, but everybody knows who Superman is, bro. You go to the Pind in Pakistan, bro, they know who Superman is, yeah? To be fair, they know about Spider-Man, but the point is, with Superman, it's been there forever. With comic books, there's all kinds of different stories. There's so many analogies for Superman as well. It's like everything's played out like Homelander, just evil Superman. We've seen it. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I love Superman, Superman is one is I just wouldn't care because we've already seen everything when it comes to Superman. With a
and
character like
Brightburn, which was like him as a kid.
Exactly. Right? Brightburn is literally an evil. Like that is a full-on rip-off. Like everything is the same. The farm, the spaceship, he turns evil 100%. So it's like Superman is one where I'm just like, don't really care. James Bond, I don't know how that's impossible, and like I said, I don't think it's possible. James Bond is a really interesting one because I wonder, like, if that would even be different. Because to me, a different James Bond is Ethan Hunt. It's Mission Impossible, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's the same. It's like when you have these pioneers of the genre, right? These Supermans, these James Bonds, these Lord of the Rings. Because everything, unironically, can't license off them, they find their own derivatives. And at this point, it's like, everything's played out now. So it's like, don't really care. Alternatively, with the Disney dons, Disney are like, whoa, you can't make do X, Y, and Z do anything, so you're screwed otherwise. So that's why I would probably just choose Kaiju one's for sure a great one, and I would just probably say Disney ones.
True. There is one. Okay, so this is a debate I've had with my brother Rav for a while, yeah, and I think to me this is like fan fiction galore. imagine this. So all these IPs have become public, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you can have, I would love multi universes coming together where
Mhm.
you have the three major assassins competing each other, right? So you got John Wick, who's
Yeah.
taken on Liam Neeson's Taken character,
Yeah.
who's taken on Jason Bourne. What happens?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Who would win?
I'll tell you who wins, Jay. I'll tell you who wins. The guy who has a bulletproof
Don't say
suit,
it.
brother.
No,
the guy who's doing this. If is it John Wick 2 when they're like, you know the scene I'm talking about with I think it's Common, where they're literally shooting at each other across the airport, wherever the station. This is their bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the bulletproof vest is OP.
His films there's zero realism, okay?
Oh,
he's
there's zero
falling
realism.
down 2 million steps,
Yeah.
and then he just gets up and dusts his bones.
Yeah, I
because he's
love
fine.
it. I love it. Honestly, bro, you're forgetting. These are spoilers, John Wick. It's the same guy who got yeeted off the top of a building, bro. He gets
Yeah, it's true.
yeeted off the top of the
It's true.
Continental, bro,
Yeah.
and survives. And he's just like, yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you. Okay, and so let's say there's 4, right? Equalizer done as well. Man like
Okay.
Denzel, even though I know you
I've
haven't
actually
seen
seen that, you know. Yeah.
it. The third one, I forgot to say it in our recap of best movies of the year. Honestly, the
Equalizer.
third one, elite film. It's top
Bro,
tier.
you know
It's got-
Denzel's 70.
Yeah, he's old. That's why he barely does any fighting in the film.
Yeah. Is it?
it, was
Is that
all,
why-
it was all story based. He's just sitting
Of
down because he's
course,
like, I can't hack
Of
this.
course. That's hilarious.
But no, it's really good. The story was amazing in that film. But I think out of all of them, and this is a hot take, you can come at me in the comments, yeah? No one is beating Jason Bourne.
Really? That's what you think?
The guy's undefeated. He's chess 10 moves behind.
I'd actually.
He's
if you're saying
Magnus,
no,
bro.
out of those three, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Shout out. Liam Neeson gets flipping yeet fast, bro. Like
Oh,
they all come up.
bro.
They
He
all
almost
come
dies
up.
in every film anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's dead immediately. They all meet up in one triangle format in the flipping park. Neeson's dead immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's interesting because John Wick is like, as each movie progresses, exactly to your point, he's going more and more of a superhero. So
Yeah.
that's why I think it's a better matchup as Statham and Statham. Why did I say Statham? Bourne. Statham would get whacked as well. Choose any Statham action hero, bro.
Statham gets Cockney boys, bro.
That's
He's
what
gonna
I'm
go
saying.
back to the ends of 2 smoking barrels.
Oh my god, Statham get yeeted, bro. Bourne is a good one because Bourne takes on. This is the thing. This is why I agree with Bourne versus Wick, because Bourne takes on the American intelligence officers. He takes on the whole CIA, bro.
But
Does
he takes on
KGB?
everyone.
Does he take KGB as well? I want to say
I don't remember.
he
Does
takes on.
ever take- I mean, he's like the most covert operative to ever exist. Even he doesn't know what he's taking part in,
Yeah,
and he kills everyone.
yeah,
That is top tier.
Yeah.
John Wick is just an assassin with a fake jacket.
yeah, but he's got durability, bro. I'm telling you, the guy
He
can't
even
die.
run straight. He can't
He
run
can't-
straight.
He can't. Yeah, actually, true. That's true, bro.
Jason Statham did the pencil scene first. Everyone always says John Wick can beat anyone because he killed 50 men with a pencil.
That's
Jason
true.
Bourne did it first with the pen and the,
That's
and the
true.
telephone wire.
You know
So-
what? You know what? We need to save this. I like this. We needed like a flipping battle royale of all the major action stars, bro, and their major
Exactly.
roles. I need to know who wins because I'm telling you, John Wick is a superhero, bro. At this point, he's Captain America, a bulletproof suit. That's OP. And like the thing is, yeah. See, that's the funny thing is some movies. Like I saw this interesting video, which is like sometimes you watch movies for vibes. Like sometimes it's like you just need to switch off your brain and it's just vibes. And like Transformers fits into that, Godzilla fits into that, John Wick fits into that. Sometimes it's just like vibes, bro. You're just sitting there, you know, like stuff that are not going to really make sense. Just go full at it. That's my take on it. Born is such a more
true.
like
Born is more of a you have to think.
yeah.
You have to
Born is
understand
a
what's
thing.
going on.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's all about tactics, right? And it's
Yeah,
all about
yeah.
the CIA and who they are and who he is and him
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to figure out where he's come from, all that stuff. John Wick, I think John Wick's in between because I'd say it's probably the best modern action series where you want to care about the lore. You want to care about
Sure.
the world building.
Yeah,
Because
for
they do
sure.
a really good job in building it, right?
100%. Yeah,
The Taken lore is just Don's daughter who acts 16 when she's 32
yeah,
gets taken away and then he has to find her, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
no one gives a shit. You just want to see him punch people, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Equalizer is a bit different. He's also a CIA guy that's like the only CIA assassin to ever escape and no one knows who he is. and then he does all these crazy things and takes on the baddest people in the world. So that's kind of cool, but still modern day. You could see it happening, right? Same as like Gerard Butler's character in whatever thingy has
Oh,
fallen,
flipping,
Olympus has
yeah,
fallen.
Olympus is full. I ain't seen that,
Right?
bro. He's
That's
just
also
secret
sick.
intelligence, bro. He's secret intelligence, bro. That don't count. He's
Yeah,
getting whipped
true.
as well.
Yeah, true. But that type of stuff makes sense. But because John Wick is is actually set in more of a sci-fi world,
Sure.
because it's not real, it's not modern day,
Yeah.
right? Technically.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why you want to think about it, because you want to care and you want to
Yeah.
understand how the Continental works.
Yeah.
Which is why the
I-
TV show might be sick.
So it's funny you say that. I 100% agree with you. The one thing that John Wick does amazing is, and like I said, most action movies, it really doesn't matter how the character gets from A to B. Actually, that's not correct. It doesn't really matter how the characters get to A to C, because you just want to see him kill Dons a lot, like from B. All right, that's all you want to see, really. Let's be honest. You want to see like another cool scene in John Wick, for example, is like when the time strikes like midnight, when he's like, it's got 1 hour until your bounty goes up, and he's like healing, and he's like literally doing the stitches for himself.
He's doing the med pack,
He's doing the med pack while Don's coming after him, right? And like he even takes on maybe you don't know this, but he takes on the basketballer, the NBA basketballer in the library.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's
I don't know
a
if I
big
remember
basketballer.
that.
He's the
Okay.
guy who's like 8 foot. He's like massive,
right.
and he kills
Yeah,
him with
yeah.
the book, basically.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah, John-
yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
basketballer. And so like that's what you want to see. You want to see Dons die from like pencils, from books, all this dumb stuff, yeah. But at the same time, the John Wick lore is great, because I completely agree. Like the whole table stuff, the Continental, so cool. The world
Yeah,
building
all
is
the different
great.
factions and like being part
100%.
of their families and what that means, and him
Yeah,
had to get the
yeah.
tattoos and stuff.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
really, really cool, right? Obviously, compared to the modern day stuff, which is just fine.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. You just want to see them beat the shit out of people,
Yeah.
right? Like we talked about Jason Statham. I love the Transporter series, but he's
Yeah.
just a driver who kills people.
He is just a
right?
driver who kills people, yeah.
But it's Jason Statham,
really
so you're like,
is.
sick. I want to watch this. Well, I don't
Yeah.
care what the story is.
Yeah,
I just want
for
to see him
sure.
drive with his leather
For
gloves and then
sure.
beat the shit out of people.
For sure, yeah. No, 100%. But yeah, just want to quickly move away. I think how much time have we been running for? Probably about an hour.
A
Probably do the
while,
last
yeah.
topic.
Yeah, go on.
Last topic. I know you got something. You had something to talk about, right? Is it a short one?
Yeah.
Wanna go for it?
I've got one that's kind of short, one that's long
Go
that would be good for everyone, I guess.
Cool. Go say that
Actually,
then.
before we do that, I'll say two things. I'll say one of Hamza's topics because he's left now, so he's not be able to say it.
Of course, he
But
is.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you've heard about what's happening with Tetris, but this is
Yeah.
the funniest thing. So, if anyone hasn't heard, Tetris, arguably, what was it? Hamza that said? No, he said
Yeah.
Pong. He said Pong.
He said Pong
Tetris-
and Tetris.
Tetris is definitely one of the most influential games. of
Yeah,
all
for
time,
sure,
because it
for
is
sure.
one of the first, right?
Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't seen, I want to watch it myself. If anyone hasn't seen the film with Taron Egerton that came out about Tetris, apparently it's really good. It's
Hmm.
all about like how they tried to sneak it out of Soviet Union and make it into
Hmm.
a game and stuff. But what's been happening is this 13-year-old kid has quote unquote beaten Tetris because he was getting the shapes. He was clearing the shapes so quickly that Tetris froze because it couldn't compute the algorithm quick enough. So it just froze, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's beat it," because obviously there's no actual end to the game; it's infinite. And his score was stuck on like 9999999 whatever. It maxed
So
out.
that's what's interesting, is from what I understand, is that 9999999 it goes higher, it just doesn't display, which is why
Right.
he was even further than that. But it's like that aspect is what apparently broke the algorithm. So you're right. Like he basically did as many possible blocks that the literal game couldn't handle it.
Yeah, that's to me that is just mental, and it's always kids, right, that do
That's
this
what
type
I
of stuff.
was gonna
Always.
say.
They're literally they're born now with the
Yeah.
neuro and the motor skills to just win at games.
It's actually so funny. I really want. Fitting enough, you got Luke Little as well in the doc, right? It's interesting with these motor skills because it's this generation of cultivating that skill, right? I want to know when like the next big, maybe not COD, because I don't know if children can legally be in like the COD championships because it's a 15, 18-year-old game.
Yeah,
But like, let's say Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like when is, and it really kind of, it's already kind of ongoing and they're kind of become more adults now. But like, when is the next big esports game? The best player in the world is just going to be like a 13, 14-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are for
there
sure
are
close.
some. Yeah,
They're for
there
sure.
are
They're
some
up there.
already.
But I'm like, when there's like unanimous, like everyone's like, oh yeah, Charlie's the one, bro. Charlie's
I
the
mean,
goat.
you say that, and we have spoke about this before. We do not claim this as an esport. right? But it does exist. FIFA is an esport technically, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
unanimously around the world, F2 Tex, the British player, is the best in the
sure,
world. He wins almost every championship, right? And he's
sure.
like 16. He's
Yeah,
basically a kid.
yeah, true. Actually, you might be right that FIFA does, which is nuts, nuts. It's
Yeah,
nuts,
it's
and
wild.
I'm sure you're gonna lead on to the Sky News, right?
Yeah, I am. That is why I want to bring it up.
Yeah.
So, if anyone hasn't seen, there was a Sky News anchor. I'm gonna pull up what her name is because I always forget. I'll put it up later. But the Sky News anchor, basically, she was introducing the topic on Sky News about the kid winning Tetris and it, failing and stuff, and him being the first player ever, 13-year-old, to beat the game that's never been beaten before. And then she ends the segment by saying, "I'm a loving mother. I'd just tell him to go outside. Winning Tetris is not a life goal." And everyone's just been rinsing her for that.
Yeah, everyone's been
What
rinsing
kind
it.
of mother says that? Your kid is literally about to be famous?
You know what's funny about that? Yeah. Do you know what's funny about that? Is this is how you know the tide has turned. Because I'm telling you, this story broke 10, 15 years ago, PS1, PS2 days. One, it wouldn't make the news. Okay.
It
Number one,
definitely
it wouldn't
wouldn't.
make Sky News. Okay. Number two, her calling this out wouldn't be news. Because it's this millennial generation of kids brought up video games that are
Mm,
like, what I'm trying to say? It's like the meme of like back then, kids were told to go, kids were told to come back inside rather than play outside. And nowadays it's like kids go outside, don't play inside. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like this
yeah.
generational thing. So I do think it's funny that it's just like, this is like a big case of just like, you could, I'm telling you, when we grew up, if you just said like video games are a waste of time,
I mean, we grew up with people saying,
stop
um,
playing video
yeah,
games.
stop playing. Don't play video games for more than like 2 hours because it can damage your
Yeah,
eyes, right? Or your
yeah,
eyes are
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
change. Your cornea is gonna change shape.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
don't
yeah,
be this close to the screen or whatever.
yeah.
All right. And nowadays, gaming industry is bigger than the film industry. So
Gaming industry is, I think, the biggest. I think it is bigger. I don't know if it's bigger than the music industry, because them dons are. I don't know,
gaming industry is
but
massive.
I
Should we
think
find
gaming
out?
is. I think gaming it's either second or first, and it's so clear of the movie industry. I saw like something where it's like movie industry plus this and that, and it's gaming
Yeah,
is still bigger. So I don't know if it's bigger than music though. Maybe it is. Probably is. I mean, it's interesting because
214 billion is what the gaming industry is apparently right now.
hmm,
Music industry. What did I say? 214 billion.
yeah, 214 billion now.
Music industry worth.
I would imagine it might be more because you've got like Spotify's $1 billion.
31 billion in 2022.
What?
Yeah, 31 versus 214. Not even close.
Yeah, that's nuts. When you do that, because you think about like Spotify, Apple Music. I mean, literally, Apple built their whole career off the flipping. Well, they didn't really build their whole career, but they exploded from the whole
iPod.
Nano,
Yeah,
iPod Nano, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So like, it is hilarious. I mean, I think you've said this before. You've definitely said this before. The most recognizable OG Apple flipping adverts
The
is
headphones one.
yeah, when
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
dancing and the
Yeah,
colors
with the
and stuff.
dancing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's just nuts how that's why it's funny because we didn't really talk about this much, but like at the Video Game Awards, every year it becomes more and more cringe because there's more and more forced celebrities, more mainstream celebrities. And so like they had like Timothée Chalamet, who
Yeah.
Timothy's definitely a gamer. Okay, I'm not like saying he's not a gamer because people found like his OG Scuff controller channel from like 10 years ago, blah blah. Right, definitely a gamer. But it's so funny them getting like Timothée Chalamet, who doesn't have anything to do with the Game Awards, to like be the guy who presents the Game of the Year award. You know what I
Thing
mean?
is, right,
It's pretty
I
funny.
feel like it always goes one of two ways. Either it's just a guy that people doesn't think is cool enough who
Yeah.
comes on and makes it instantly cringe, right? Timothy
Mm,
Chalamet, yeah, sick in Dune, like sick actor in Dune,
yeah.
but I wouldn't say he's really the coolest guy in the world,
I can't lie to
Whereas,
you. Can't lie to
what?
you. After Willy Wonka, that's my guy.
Yeah, listen, you're
After
finished.
Paul,
Listen,
after
you're finished.
Paul, I'm telling you. First of all, the fact that Harsh don't like Willy Wonka, that guy's got flipping ice cold heart, bro. If you don't like Willy Wonka, you've got no soul, especially as a Brit. Especially as a Brit, because you got basically every British kid, at least our generation. Nowadays, kids are different. Brought up in Roald Dahl stories, bro. Like Roald Dahl
Yeah,
stories. And Willy
yeah.
Wonka is like the encapsulation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, obviously. The twists, Matilda, bro. It's like Soul Sister, bro. I'm telling you, it is that vibe. And I mean, to be honest, I'm not saying anything new. Am I? Hoshi's got an ice cold heart.
No, we've
Yeah.
already said this. We've already said this.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think
But-
Timothy's cool now, but I understand what you're saying for sure.
Right. So, I mean, you compare that to when they were chatting about Cyberpunk and they brought out Keanu
Yeah.
on stage and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
that's like everyone knows Keanu
Yeah,
is
yeah,
sick,
yeah.
right? So it makes it fun. But
Yeah.
and then I don't know if it was this year's Game Awards or maybe a previous year, but I remember the game, and no one's gonna care about this, so I'll make it short. But a very popular video game called Dead by Daylight. They were making DLC and they brought Nicolas Cage on the stage, right? Because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
now a character you can play in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
you know for a fact this guy doesn't give a shit about the game. He just wants the
for
money,
sure.
right? He's
For
broke
sure.
as hell,
For-
right? You
for
know he's
sure.
broke. You know he's
For
some gambling
sure.
addict or some shit.
For
Too much liquor,
sure.
and he's
Yeah,
come
for
on to make
sure.
his pee, and he's just like, and he just starts talking about the character and what it means and how he really evokes the emotion of Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage, and you're like, bruv,
yeah.
shut up, I don't give a fuck.
You know, it's funny you say that. There's nothing. I mean, actually, it was this game. It wasn't the Game Awards, but I think it might be like a showcase. I know it was this year though for the Nick thing. Matthew McConaughey was at the Game Awards to promote his game, right? So it's like the same thing
See
every
that
year.
back?
Yeah, well, that's because Matthew McConaughey's cool, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, but like, all right. But what's funny though is just like this leeching aspect. To your point, which is just funny because you're right. The gaming industry is flipping 5 times
Humongous.
bigger than the music flipping. So
Mm.
you can imagine how much bigger it is than the movie industry at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out. But I do find it funny. I'll be honest. I'm not surprised at all the way Sky News presented it. I mean, it's Sky News in the day. If this was like IGN, if this was like an IGN thing, they'd be like, "Yeah, shout out that kid." But Sky News, so I always knew that there was going to
Would
be
you
that
expect?
kind of like,
Yeah, but it's just a random anchor in it. Like, would you expect just some random woman to pop off on one for no reason?
yeah. Do you know what's funny? And I don't want to get political because it's a bit too late. These dons do the most, okay? But if you say something like Free Palestine, I'm sure using the compilation.
Oh,
Whoa,
yeah.
we don't talk politics here. We
Yeah.
don't talk politics.
That's true.
they
That's true.
do the most. But if your brother's flipping complete Tetris because he's 13, what do you expect him to be doing, to be fair? Like, he's 13 in the day. There's not like 13-year-olds nowadays. Gaming, YouTube, flipping, what else? You know what I mean?
iPad babies, bro.
iPad babies. So,
This-
I mean, what do you expect me to be
That
doing?
is it. I've 100% GTA 6 is gonna have the most underage players on it out of any game ever.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%, bro.
100%. 100%. You know, it's so funny because, wow, that's another thing lost to time. Like the whole age certificate thing. Okay, ain't nobody give a
no one
shit
cares,
now,
'cause
bro.
you don't
But
need
I'm
it.
telling
There's
you,
no-
back when we were younger, you could not buy a 15 or 18-year-old thing. That would be seen as nobody gave it. Nobody cares now, but back in the day, you
was a big
15,
thing.
18, ooh, that's a big thing for that. You
Well, that's what I'm
could
saying.
not.
But it was because there was a physical barrier, right? You had to
Yeah.
go into the store
Yeah.
and speak to the staff and say, I want to buy
Yeah.
this game, right? And they'd
Yeah,
ID you or whatever. They'll say, no, I can't sell you this. I could log into my PSN right now,
Yeah.
change my date of birth, buy a game.
Yeah. You could.
What? Who's stopping me?
Yeah. Who gonna stop me?
Who gonna stop me?
Yeah,
right?
it's so true. It is so true.
It's dumb. It's dumb. But
For sure.
let me move on quickly because I want to chat about one more thing before we end.
Sure.
Because it's actually, this is like a recent thing that's come about. I saw an article on this literally about 2-3 days ago, and we've spoken about it before a little while ago about population. It's about population, but we've been speaking about, we're now 8 billion people across the world, right? And it's massive and it's causing a bunch of different problems with overpopulation, and especially in these eastern countries, right? India 1.5 billion, China 1.5 billion. Well, now there's a new report that's come out, and some of these stats people have known for a while, but this is like undenying now. China is having a massive crisis. So when we grew up, when we were in school, one thing we were taught was the one-child policy. Yeah, you remember it.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers it. We were
course.
taught China, they're only allowed to have one kid, and that's why there's all these massacres going on, mass abortions, because if it's a girl, they don't want that So they scrap the babies until they have a kid that is a boy, and they keep the boy. And now China is like massively overpopulated with guys and not enough women. That's causing an
Yeah.
issue, right?
Yeah.
Well, now there's an even bigger issue, which is all these women, so all the girls that weren't essentially binned off when their parents got pregnant, right? These
Yeah.
girls have now grown up in a society where one kid is normalized,
Hmm.
right? And they finally have, they have power now as that one child, as a parent, they can make their own decisions now. And they've grown up in that society where, yeah, one child is normal, and also they wouldn't want to go through what they were put through. So now China's in a crisis where they don't have enough people, and women aren't getting pregnant as much as the Chinese government wants them to. And a statistic has come out that said by 2100, so the end of the century, which is what, like 80 years from now, China's
Yeah.
population is going to go from 1.4 billion to 500 mil. Right?
Whoa.
That is what they're
Whoa.
predicting.
Whoa. That's crazy because I think we've talked about this before. It's the similar thing with Japan where people are on
Yeah.
same thing, but like I think Japan is gonna go from, I can't remember where it is population wise, maybe like 120, 130 mil to like 80 something.
Mm.
But that 1.3, because obviously it's
1.5.
exponential in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1.4, sorry.
it's
Yeah, it's
exponential in it.
exponential.
So
Yeah,
like the more you're gonna have, the bigger the drastic decline in general. Obviously, that's
exactly.
nuts. To
Yeah.
500 million is
500 mil. So
crazy.
they're dropping by 3 times, all
Wow.
because, and the worst bit is the government is now blaming these women who don't want to have more kids, right? So there's mass propaganda that they're coming out with, which is
Mm,
ironic for us because we grew up with one child policy. They're calling it the three
yeah.
child policy because they want
Right.
all these women to now have 3 kids so they can sustain their population growth, right? And all
Wow.
these women are saying, F that. Why would I want to do that? Because A, I don't have the money to raise 3 kids.
Yeah.
2, your society is still formed around blaming women for things, which is exactly what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
And thirdly, I can make my own decisions, so I'm just going to say F you, right?
Mm,
So now they have an aging population, they don't have enough
wow.
workers, and
That's
people are only
crazy.
having one kid. So 500 mil,
That's
the
crazy.
economy is completely going to collapse.
Yeah, but 3 times, that's so large because obviously the 500 mil doesn't accommodate for the elderly as well. Because
Exactly.
there'll be within that 500 mil, there'll be elderly people who just have a long lifespan, right? So
Mhm.
that is who are not going to be able in the workforce. That's crazy. I have not seen that. That's
Yeah.
crazy because I've always known the story about Japan. That's been the biggest. There's a certain word for this, but like I've always known about that Japan case because I saw a documentary years ago. It's always been a big thing. Everyone always talks about it because in Japanese culture, it's kind of convenient. I mean, different circumstances. The China thing with the one child policy, which has essentially led to this, and different norms. But like societal norm in Japan is working culture, in it for the most
Mhm.
case, most of East Asia,
Mhm.
most even Southeast Asia. It's work culture, right? So it's like you have like working moms, women who are more interested in careers. At the same time, you got men who don't get with women. There's like the classic
Yeah, yeah.
stories of all that kind of stuff. So to know that is now happening in another gigantic East Asian country is nuts. Because I would not be surprised if a similar thing, I bet, I mean, it's not going to be as drastic as it's like exponential, but I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happens in South Korea as well.
Yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, so that's crazy. That's genuinely
Yeah.
crazy. Forcing women to have 3 children is nuts, by the
Yeah, it's
way.
mad. It's
Nuts.
actually mad.
It's nuts.
I
Because like,
don't remember. I don't remember which country it was, but we also learned this when we were in school. I may be wrong, but I feel like it was Singapore, who the government mandated a law at the time, which was because they wanted their population to grow, because that was like a new developing, like next first world country that was coming in, right?
yeah,
And Singapore's massive now, but back in the day it was like
yeah,
there was nothing around, right?
yeah.
So they mandated the law where after your first kid, however many more kids you have, the government would set up like a college fund for them, and you'd get money every year to take care for
What?
this kid. You'd get paid to have more kids,
Wow.
right? Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the law was, but you'd get paid. I think you'd get paid like maybe 4 to 5 grand if you have another kid, and then they set up like a 15 grand college fund or some shit like that.
Bro, it's okay. So it's not so much the money, like the grant, not so much the grant that they're offering people, right? Because I mean, people get child benefits in this country, but it's more so the fact they're paying for the tuition fees as well, or
Yeah,
the at least 15 grand. I would imagine Singapore probably has really cheap tuition fees as well. Like I would not be surprised. It's one of these Asian
I don't know.
countries,
Maybe.
but that's nuts. That's
Yes.
nuts.
So like all these Eastern Asian countries, like there's a lot. They have a massive population crisis all across all of
Yeah,
them, and it's really weird they tackle it, right? So China's obviously tackling it by saying you can't have more kids, and
yeah,
then when that screws up, you have to have more kids, and then
yeah,
it's a cyclical cycle, right? Because then they'll
yeah,
overpopulate and they'll say you can't have more kids anymore,
yeah, for
and then
sure,
you're just blaming the people that you're imposing this law on, which
for
is so
sure,
weird.
for sure. Yeah, damn, that's crazy. That's really crazy for sure.
Yeah.
It's
Let
just
us
like interesting because
know what you think.
the one child policy is like there's so many like that's such an ethical thing to begin with anyway, like an ethical thing to force people to only have one kid, and at the same time it's then led to exactly what you said, them choosing males because it's a male dominant society, and now everything is becoming a consequence of that, which is kind of crazy because the other thing is you like you said you got more males to females, so it's obviously going to be harder to populate anyway. It's
Yeah,
Tinder. It's Tinder
right,
IRL, bro. It's
right,
Tinder
literally.
IRL.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be really difficult. It's slightly different in the West because, I mean, we also see declining populations in the West, but that's more so because, money is a massive thing now when people take it into consideration a lot more because
mm,
of cost of living and amount it costs to actually raise a child. So in Western countries like in Britain and America and stuff, the like kids per parent is gone down to almost two. It's like 2 point something on average. Because after
sure,
your second kid, you're spending, I don't know what the figure is, but let's say it's like 100 grand per kid that
sure,
you spend
sure.
over a lifetime.
Hmm.
That adds up to a lot, right? And now we have people are living a lot longer and all that stuff, and it's easier in the West to raise a child in terms of medicine and stuff that you don't need to have lots of kids. Whereas third world countries or even places like India, where medicine isn't as good in lots of parts of the country, and in Africa where again medicine is scarce and stuff, then you have loads of kids out of necessity, right? Because you need people to help you out and stuff like that, right? To do manual labor
Yeah,
and all that type of
for
stuff on the
sure.
farms.
Yeah.
So that's a bit different in the West because it's easier like that. But in
Hmm.
China, we're saying there's literally not enough women and the women don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you say?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
I was like,
Wow. One third, or
yeah,
not a bit more than one third, but that's crazy. I can't even imagine what that means because half the world runs on flipping Chinese manufacturing as well is the other interesting
yeah,
thing, and their tax imports and exports. So
exactly. What happens to
mm,
their society? What happens to you'll have so many ghost towns because there'll be no one there,
yeah,
right? Yeah, exactly. You're right. Your exporting capacity will drastically reduce. And again, out of that 500 mil, how much of that is of like the working demographic? Even
yeah,
less than that, right? Let's say you have 300 mil working demographic. That's not enough people
yeah,
to maintain anything.
to sustain what they've started. Yeah,
So
damn, that's
we'll
kind of a
see.
scary thing. 100 years. I mean, that's basically going to happen in our lifetime for the most part,
Yeah, yeah. I
or
mean, we'll
our
start to see
children's
the
lifetime.
effects way
That's
before
what I'm
then,
saying.
anyway.
We'd
Yeah.
start to see the effects way before then.
Yeah.
Damn.
So,
3 child policy, get banging, mate.
get
I just
banging.
can't believe they're like, yeah, you man, get to it, please. We're
Yeah,
struggling.
it is
Thing
mad.
is, yeah, it's kind of like not a democratic nation as well. So like, they will
That's the
force
thing.
it upon them. They will force it upon them is the unfortunate thing. They won't have much choice,
Yeah.
but
Well,
they'll
I don't know
end it on
if
that.
if anyone knows more about it, or yeah, if we have any fans that are of East Asian heritage and you know more about these policies than we do, then let us know because maybe we've got some stuff wrong, or maybe like it's a bit different in actual reality. But from our
Yeah,
perspective, like, our world economy is mudded basically. If China
yeah,
goes to
yeah.
500 mil,
It
what can you
really
do?
is. It really is. Leave a comment down
So
below if you got this far.
yeah,
Leave a
please do.
like if you got this comment. Leave a like if you got this far. Subscribe if you got this far.
Subscribe
Hit the
to
bell if
where?
you got this far.
Where are they subscribing to?
The Atypical podcast.
You got it
Yes,
right.
I got it right. At the Atypical podcast. Please follow all the socials, and we will see you guys later. Peace.